quarterback for a long time, obviously doing his thing. I'm kind of wondering what do you think it says about his ego that when you switched him to wide receiver away from starting quarterback, he was just like, I mean, that's got to take a kid who's willing to swallow his pride a little bit.
It shows you what kind of young man he is. Very selfless. He comes from a great family, great parents. Has raised a great young man. Because, obviously he rushed for 1,400 yards last year. I mean, there's not very many people that have played college football in the history of college football that have rushed for 1,400 yards. And for him to accept his role is pretty remarkable. So I've been really, really happy with him. He's played really well. He's really helped us. I really believe the way he's accepted it is helped other guys on our team that might be kind of pouting or sulking about certain things. They're like, okay, wait a minute. This guy's a starting quarterback, rushed for 1,400 yards, and he got moved. I have no room to complain. I think everybody's kind of just followed suit. And I think from the other side of it, I have to give Malcolm credit. There's sometimes we get down to the 1 yard line, and here comes Zach, and then, he could be like, hey, I want to score. But, our guys it shows who our team is, but that's what gives us a chance, just selfless kids, and it starts with Zach Abey.
And you like how that offense is working out so far now, a couple games in, it sounds like.
It's what we did in the bowl game. It was kind of by chance. We're like, let's see if this works, and it worked really well. And, it's not like people don't know what we're doing, and it's worked really well, and we're going to continue to do it.
You said you saw guys dialed in today. Are you feeling better about the game after having gone back and watched the tape at all, now that it's Wednesday? No.
No, we didn't play very well. I just felt like we left a lot of things out there, and we didn't play as sharp as we need to play. But I didn't like our preparation last week. Much better this week in our 2 days of practice. I liked what I saw much better, and doesn't mean we'll win, no, but I think at least gives us a chance.
Speak a little bit more about SMU and what you expect out of this game. Obviously a new coaching staff, so there's not a lot you can base off the previous games with them. I mean, how do you approach that?
Oh, no, there's a lot you can base off. You can see their athleticism. And a lot of times they stood toe-to-toe with a lot of those guys. A lot of the game against Michigan, Michigan was loading up, and they stopped them in the run. They gave us some big plays on the edge and some passing game stuff. But I was impressed how, short yardage stuff, they're able to stuff Michigan on stuff. Obviously playing TCU, they did a lot of good things. North Texas is a good team. We know these guys. Hicks, we saw what he did to us in the second half last year, and he's a really good quarterback. The Brown kids, obviously a very talented young man. Coach Dykes is a really good coach. They're trying to build their culture. They're trying to get guys coming along, and it takes some time. I just hope it doesn't come together against us. But, that kind of stuff takes time. Mm-hmm. Just trying to create a brand new staff. You're trying to create your own culture. 3 tough games to start off with. And so we're expecting a tough battle. It all it is.
The Gans Trophy, it's kind of an oddity in that, SMU and Navy wouldn't necessarily be rivals, if you will, but there is a trophy on the line. Do you even think about that at all?
Well, obviously, Coach Gans, is a graduate here, but also from the standpoint that Coach Jones had worked with him for many years, and that's kind of where it started.
Mm-hmm. June Jones.
And so it's a great way to pay tribute to him. He's a great coach, and obviously, just his ties to both schools, and we're trying to win the game, but obviously, to be able to get the trophy is awesome too.
Do you feel better about Sean Williams being able to go? He looked like he was practicing out there.
Had a really good practice, really good day today and yesterday. So looked
probable.
Oh, he's definitely going.
He's going to go.
Yeah.
Well, looking at SMU offensively, I know they played some tough opponents so far. TCU and Michigan in particular, that very tough defenses. But what do you see? You see some abilities?
Oh, they got tremendous skill. They're a really good football team. North Texas is super on defense also. They might be the best of the 2 teams they played, the 3 teams they played. So, they got some receivers that can fly, 3 really good running backs, athletic tight ends. They're the real deal.
How do you prepare? Obviously, quarterback-wise, Hicks, and last year he played very well against you, especially in the second half. But this Brown kid's now in play, and you saw him against Michigan, and he's a very athletic, capable guy. How do you go into this? You got to basically plan to see them both? And
yeah, a lot of the plays they do with both of them. They're going to emphasize one thing or another with with one or the other of them. They're both capable quarterbacks. We saw, like you said, Hicks last year. He can throw the ball around. He's got good speed, doesn't run as much. The young one, he's a big, strong, physical kid that can run, and he throws the ball 1,000,000 miles an hour too. So they're both really good quarterbacks. We'll just see which one they go with.
So in terms of the offensive style and what they're running, is it similar to what Chad Morris was doing? Is it basically typical college spread, or is it something different?
It's a little bit like what everybody's running. They have their own wrinkles to it. So just like every week, they kind of look the same, but they're subtly different.
In your time here, have you ever split up the quarterback spot this way?
No, but again, Zach is second in school history in yards rushing in the season. We got to keep that. And I told Zach, you're a big part of this football team. I know it wasn't great moving, but his role is still important. It's a very, very important role. People don't understand. If he doesn't convert on 3rd and short, 4th and short at the goal line, we're punting. And when we're punting, it's not good for us. So, very important role. He's doing a great job at it. Again, he's taking it in stride. He hasn't complained about it. He thrives on it. And again, the team is on his back in certain situations. So again, he lives for that, and the kid's doing a great job at it.
When you told him you were moving him to that slot, is that something you wanted to make sure he knows? I mean, because a senior guy who's been a starting quarterback, you got to think there's some people would have their pride hurt by that.
Exactly. I put him to the side, and because once he went there, he went. I mean, his mindset was just receiver, learn all the plays. I said, wait, come here. Look here. You're still a quarterback now. I understand you're still important to this football team. You're still in our game plan as a quarterback, and just stay focused. Don't get too far away from it. And again, he's been doing a good job at it.
Thanks.
Good.
I was going to ask you about SMU. I was talking to Kenny yesterday. He said that this coordinator was a part of a staff, I guess maybe at Northern Illinois, that played Air Force or something.
Played Army.
Army, right. So do you look at that, or do you kind of go in thinking it could be a wild card?
Well, we always do our research on every coordinator that we play, team that we face, try to find out if anyone has experience against the offense on their staff, and we kind of try to find the film, take a look at it, again, see where they've been, who they know, things of that nature. But again, when it comes down to it, we just go out and we kind of guess what we might see. But again, we have rules for our offense. We block everything. We work against certain defenses. This week has been 4 or 5 different looks, and again, it might not be enough. We might go out there Saturday and
see something completely different. How often does that happen when they line up at the beginning of the game and you're like, okay, back to playing square one?
Well, it happened last week. We had a plan, and they came out of something completely different. So their second defense, the first defense we were on, but the second defense, they got in the Houston defense, where Houston was playing against us a few years ago. So again, we just go out there and work with what thing we're going to see and prepare for it, and then when we come out, whatever they end, we adjust and go from there.
Do you have any concerns about the fullback production? I mean, there hasn't been a lot going on for the fullbacks so far.
Well, that's the one thing I want people to understand about an option offense. They can take away a lot of things from you if they want to. The first game, our fullback had a great game. And Memphis, they came in, they canceled all the gaps, made it a perimeter game, and tackle the ball. They had a great game plan. And last week was kind of the same exact deal. It became a perimeter game for us, and luckily for us, we were able to get the ball in the perimeter and make some big plays. So it's an option offense. We have to find ways of getting the ball to the fullback. If they're doing that, you got to be creative and know how to fix what you're doing. And we have a great staff in doing that, to take what they give you. But again, we've had a few years ago, a certain team's philosophy was to make the quarterback carry the ball, and Keenan scored 7 touchdowns. We're like, okay, we'll take that.
Right,
it's just a matter of what we see, how they're defending it, and again, try to find a way to get the fullback going if they're trying to shut him down. But if not, we try to find other things to move to and move the football.
One thing I noticed last week with Malcolm, when he threw the ball, he stood in the pocket a little bit more. I think in the Memphis game, he was anxious to run, to pull it down and run. Is that something you've talked about? Is show some patience. Like Garrett had a play in which he stepped up into the pocket, made a nice throw downfield. I don't think he completed, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, again, Malcolm, you try and take a painting by a 3-year-old and turn it into a Picasso.
Right.
I mean, Malcolm is a great athlete, but again, in high school he was a runner. His high school film, he didn't throw one pass. So we're just trying to build a quarterback out of him. Again, he has all the other intangibles, as far as the athleticism and just as far as the want to. I think I bring the technique along. And again, we continue to work on it. It's a process, and he's getting better at it. But last week, we made a focus of it, going to the game, sit in the pocket, work your feet, And he did that, but again, hit some throws and did hit some throws, but again, we have a long season, a lot more football to play, and he'll get better.
Well, I was just going to ask you about the fullback production. Any concern from your part about what's happened so far? There's not been a lot there the last 2 games in particular.
Well, yeah, I think some of it has to do with the way teams are playing us right now. I mean, the first game of the year we had a pretty good day, and then Memphis did a good job of taking away the inside run and forcing the ball outside, and then the same thing with Lehigh. I think the way they made some adjustments that forced the ball to go outside, and as a result we didn't have the production that we want to have. But we're going to take what the defense gives us each week, so if we're a big part of it, great. If we're not, we're going to take that role and embrace it as well.
So I mean, I haven't covered this offense for a long time. I mean, they normally told me that the fullback's got to get something, even if they're playing him. I mean, you don't just give up and say we can't run on the inside and quit on it, do you?
No, obviously not. I think it's still a part of the 3 phases to the offense, but if they're not going to let you hand the ball off, then it's going to be a lot harder to generate those productive yards inside that you may get against different defensive structures and different defensive schemes. So just the way the Lehigh played us, it didn't allow us to get going too much, but obviously Malcolm and the A-backs, they got going as the game went on. So
has there been instances where the give to the fullback was there and it wasn't made? And because sometimes you see the fake the fullback and the fullback goes running up through this massive hole, and you think, wow, maybe if you'd given it to him, he'd got it 10 yards there. But
yeah, there might have been one against Lehigh. We ran a midline and the guy stepped out, and Malcolm.
Yeah, they do that the fake.
Yeah, they might have stepped out, came back late. Malcolm felt like he was going to come back, so he pulled it and still got the ball pitched, and we gained 10 yards. So still a productive play. Could we have gained more handing it off? Maybe. Hindsight's always 20/20 there. So we're glad he's doing what he's doing with the ball. He's pretty dynamic with it in his hands, so no complaints there.
And what about with regard to Anthony and Nelson? Are they becoming closer, or is there still a big gap between?
Yeah, I think they're a lot closer. I mean, I think Nelson's production has gone up. I think his playing time's gone up. It's going to continue to go up as the year goes on. And as long as we can find that nice balance between the two of them, hopefully we can keep them both healthy. Hopefully we can keep them both fresh so we can be pretty dynamic as the year goes on.